Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Inside Edge. It's Wednesday, July 9th. And here's something undeniable. Bob Torricelli is one of the smartest political strategists of my generation. And so I felt a little old yesterday when a talented but very young political operative working on a Jersey campaign didn't recognize the name of the former United States senator. This is about working your way up the ladder. Torricelli grew up in a political home in Franklin Lakes. His father had run for councilman and mayor a few times. He did it as a Democrat, which means he lost all those races. But young Bob Torricelli was immediately more successful when he was in eighth grade. So I guess around 1964, he was elected junior mayor of Franklin Lakes. And when he was 21 and the Rutgers class president, this was 1972, the first year 21-year-olds could vote, Torricelli ran for delegate to the Democratic National Convention. He was on a slate pledged to Ed Muskie. Muskie dropped out in April, and that was good for Torricelli. It protected his lifetime undefeated record. He'd have lost to the McGovern slate that included Loretta Weinberg and Jim Bouton. And Torricelli scored his first win in that June primary, 72. He won a seat as a county committeeman, and he quickly became the Franklin Lakes Democratic municipal chairman. In 1973, he became the sergeant at arms of the Democratic State Committee and the District 40 Democratic chairman. And he was chairman of students for Brendan Byrne that year. And while in law school, he managed the Democratic Freeholder campaign in Bergen in 1975. That was a Republican year statewide, but Democrats won two seats, and that clinched them control for another 2 years. In 1977, Governor Brendan Byrne was in a really tough race, both in a primary and a general, and Torricelli served as his deputy campaign manager. So while still in law school, he joined Byrne's staff. He became an assistant counsel, and then in 1978, he went to Washington as an aide to Vice President Walter Mondale, and in 1980, Jimmy Carter's reelection campaign dispatched him to Illinois. He managed the primary campaign against Ted Kennedy, and Carter won that primary by 13 points. And then in 1982, at age 31, Torricelli ran for Congress in a Bergen-Hudson district. He knocked on 75,000 doors. He unseated a three-term Republican congressman named Harold Hollenbeck by 7 points. And what he said in his victory speech that night was incredibly prescient. He said Democrats had failed to develop a message nationally. He said, not because we represent too few interests, but because we seek to represent too many. He thought the big tent of the Democratic Party had become too big and unmanageable. And Torricelli called on national Democrats to undergo a self-examination of his party. He said, understand why the party of ideas seemed to be so uncertain. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks.